Hello, chess tubers. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a special deep dive into a fascinating piece of chess history. I want to give full credit and a huge thank you to Vanessa Bristow, whose incredible article on the chess.com blog inspired this video. If you want to read her full, detailed post, I've linked it in the description below.
We often talk about the greats, the Fischers, the Kasparovs, the Carlsens. But what about the ones who were supposed to be the next world champion and just weren't? What makes someone rise to the top? Is it natural talent or pure hard work? Usually it's both, but natural talent has a way of enchanting us. Seeing a child master a skill that takes adults decades to learn feels like magic. But today, we're looking at the darker side of that magic. We're exploring the stories of 4 brilliant chess prodigies who, for various reasons, didn't reach the summit.
First, we have the story of Peter Winston. Peter wasn't just a chess genius, he was a polymath. He learned the alphabet at 18 months, could read before he was 2, and at age 5 he was analysing the JFK assassination. By 14 he was a chess master. He even defeated the legendary GM Walter Brown. In 1974 he was the rising star of American chess. But then the decline began. Mental health issues and substance use began to take their toll. By college he suffered a nervous breakdown. He stopped taking his medication and his play collapsed. At one tournament in New York he lost all 9 games. The end of his story is a true mystery. In 1978, amidst a mental health crisis, Peter ran out of a friend's house and vanished. A few days later, the Great Blizzard of 1978 hit New York. He was never seen again. A brilliant mind lost to the storm.
Next is Jutta Hempel, often called the real Life Beth Harmon. At age 3, she could replay entire games from memory. On her 6th birthday, she scored 9.5 out of 12 in a simultaneous exhibition. She was a media sensation across Europe. But Jutta's failure to reach the top wasn't a tragedy, it was a choice. She once famously said she was more interested in the chocolate next to the board than the game itself. She eventually decided that a woman couldn't make a living from chess at that time. She went to business school, got a job at a bank, married, and lived a normal life. She simply chose what made her happy over the exhausting grind of professional chess.
If you've seen the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer, you might know the character based on Jeff Sarwer. At age 9, experts said Jeff was stronger than Bobby Fischer was at 11. He was the under-10 world champion and a regular on TV. But his life took a turn that sounds like a movie script. Due to an abusive domestic situation, Jeff and his sister were taken into foster care, but they eventually ran away with their father. They lived life as fugitives, moving illegally across Europe under assumed names. This effectively killed his chess career. He resurfaced years later as a poker player and a FIDE master, but we will always wonder what would have happened if he had been allowed to keep playing.
Finally, we look at Arturo Pomar from Spain. At age 12, he drew a game against the world champion Alexander Alekhine. He was the Spanish Morphy. But Arturo became a victim of politics. The dictator, General Franco, used him as a propaganda tool to show the greatness of the regime. However, when the regime no longer needed him, they abandoned him. He was forced to work a full-time job at a post office and had to take unpaid leave just to play in tournaments. Without financial or technical support, he could never compete with the elite. He was a Grandmaster, yes, but his true potential was stifled by the very people who claimed to support him.
These stories remind us that a rating is just a number, but the person behind the board has a life, a struggle, and a choice. Whether it was tragedy, choice, or politics, these 4 legends remind us how fragile greatness can be. Huge thanks again to Vanessa Bristow for the wonderful research on this topic. Did you find these stories as wild as I did? If you loved this format, smash that like and subscribe buttons and let me know in the comments. There are so many more incredible chess blogs and hidden histories out there. If you want to see more, tell me, and I will dive back into the archives to bring you more stories of the kings and queens of the board. Until next time, this is ChessTubeTree, signing off.